we are living in the future, according to most stories set in the future. The Jetsons lived in the distant future of the year 2000. Doc and Marty McFly went back to 2015 and Back to the Future 2. And the Terminator came back from 2017 to 1984. So we are living in the future. Hooray! But we humans are constantly looking at the new horizon and trying to think about the ways that humans might be different down the road. On today's thought experiment, we'll take a look at the future of human evolution and what we humans might be like in the distant future. Do humans who change their environments rather than themselves evolve? What part does our technology play, and what might we expect in the future for humans? First, let's quickly talk about evolution. There's an idea that evolution is a linear process. You have a monkey, then an ape, then an upright ape, and then a few scruffy-looking cavemen, and bingo, now you have humans. But that is simply not how evolution works. It's not a linear cause and effect. Our family tree is more like a weird and twisted bush. Homo sapiens evolved from Homo erectus, but they also crossbred with Neanderthals and Denisovans, and others, so our genes are a complicated mess. Random mutations and selective breeding mold and shape modern humans constantly in subtle ways. An estimated 15% of the population are resistant to poison ivy, for example. 10% of the population are left-handed, and 67% of the people in America can't eat gluten. All of these mutations are in our DNA code. They don't occur very often, but they do occur, and those traits are added to the gene pool. Where these mutations become significant is when they affect survival or sexual selection. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors had a mutation to make their eyes blue. Our ancestors clearly thought that blue-eyed variants were attractive because, fast forward to today, 17% of the world's population has blue eyes, including me. When someone with a certain set of traits has children, they pass those genes on and amplify that by multiple generations, and those traits drive speciation. That's evolution, baby! And here's something to consider. People always assume that evolution is a process that takes thousands or even millions of years, but it patently is not. Elephants in Africa are starting to be born without tusks because tuskless African elephants are less likely to be hunted by poachers. They live longer, breed more, and those traits get passed on more and more. And this has been happening in as few as just 40 years. Evolution can and does happen fast when the pressure is high. But what about us humans? Evolutionary pressure is at an all-time low for us. With our technology, we tend to change our environment to suit ourselves rather than ourselves to suit our environment. This dependence on our technology has caused some to theorize that humans are done evolving. And certainly evolution for us looks very different than for other species. But humans are still evolving and changing all the time. But it's true that technology has definitely changed the game for human evolution. Selective traits are much less important to humans these days than they were to our ancestors. Physical traits play much less part in humans than they ever have before. With some hair dye, anyone can be a blonde. With contacts, they can change their eye color. With plastic surgery, they can have whatever body type they want. And in a world where anyone can look like anything, physical traits play very little part in driving sexual selection. With the aid of medical technology, humans are living longer, resisting more diseases, and being more successfully born where potentially they wouldn't have in the past. However, humans' reliance on technology is retarding our natural selection. And were we to lose our technology, it would be a really bad day for human evolution. The good news is that while technology is slowing down our natural selection process, it is facilitating unnatural selection. CRISPR, or Clustered Regular Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats, gives us the ability to edit genetics and design genetically modified organisms. In the future, parents might be able to use CRISPR to customize their baby and give it whatever genetics they want. The biggest obstacles are the moral implications of turning your child into a genetic chimera and the monetary cost associated with making a real-world anime catgirl. Because build-a-baby factories are a luxury item, it will likely remain extremely expensive. So for those of us that rely on good old-fashioned baby production, there are some features that are likely to be amended in the future. First of all, humans of the future will likely be even more sexually dimorphic than they are today. Males will be taller on average, while females on average will be shorter and heavier and have wider hips than they do now. Studies have shown that these adaptations make it easier to give birth in conjunction with our comically oversized heads. On that subject, all humans, males and females, will likely have smaller heads proportionally than they do today, as reliance on technology and more efficient brains will allow for smaller skull sizes. Our fingers will likely grow longer and more dexterous, good for typing. And we will likely evolve to be better at sitting, since the majority of people spend far more time than is advisable doing exactly that. Also, I predict that in the future we will evolve to be better able to metabolize sugary foods and carbohydrates. Our love of sugar was developed way back in our history as a reward for finding fruit. We get that little dopamine drip every time we eat sugar. But nowadays, there's so much sugar in our food that obesity and diabetes are rampant, especially in America. But with some tweaks to our digestive system, future humans can have their cake and eat it too. But perhaps the biggest change for future evolution is where humans will be evolving. As we move into the future and we expand our reach to the stars above, we are going to start having humans developing beyond the confines of Earth. Humans born in space would develop into barrel-chested, pop-eyed giants with rickets. Martian humans may well develop to be more radiation-resistant by, say, becoming orange in their skin tone. They would mutate much faster on Mars due to the higher radiation, driving the changes even faster than on Earth. Moving off-world opens the door to a veritable explosion of evolutionary possibilities because it offers such alien evolutionary circumstances. The future of human evolution is hard to know for sure, but we are moving towards that great big beautiful tomorrow every second of every day. And if we'd like to ensure that the human species continues to evolve and adapt, we need to keep our eyes and mind open and always be creative. Thanks for watching.